Hey everybody, I just wanted to post a welcome video to welcome y'all to fall 2020 and specifically to my class. You should be enrolled in Government 2306, Texas Government. My name is Professor Jack Phillips. So I just wanted to kind of go over the syllabus, talk about, what the class is going to be about, what I'm going to expect of you this semester, all that good stuff. So, um, obviously, this was a fully online class. Everything will be done through Blackboard. So we're going to talk about the assignments and how all that's going to go. If you need to meet with me, send me an email. Obviously, I won't have office hours, on campus or anything like that, but I can meet with you by Zoom. If you want to meet just one-on-one, that's fine with me. I am somewhat busy. I teach at UTA as well as TCC, and I'm finishing a dissertation, but y'all are my priorities. So if you need to meet with me one-on-one, we can do that by Zoom or something like that, and that'll kind of be my office hours. And I'll meet with you anytime, reasonable hours, like from like 9 in the morning to like 10 at night. That's reasonable for me. Just send me an email, let me know what time works for you, and we will set something up for that. My email, make sure you check the syllabus. My email is jack.phillips@my.tccd.edu. Now, make sure you are spelling my last name correctly. Phillips only has one L. So typically if someone says, I emailed you and I haven't gotten a response, it's because you misspelled my last name. So the email address is in the syllabus. Make sure you check that if you're not sure. So this is Texas government. So we're going to be talking about the structure of Texas government, our constitution, 3 branches of government, all that kind of stuff. Most people, the last time they had Texas government before they get to college is 7th grade. That's usually when most of us take it if you grow up here. So this material you probably haven't been over in a long time, but it's not that drastically different than U.S. government. If you're from out of state or out of the country, this will all be new to you. So the textbook for this class is called The Texas Experience, Lone Star Politics, Policy, and Participation, and it's published by the Texas Tribune. Now, I'll leave getting the book up to you. There is no older edition of this book, so if you want a book, you'll have to buy the current edition. But my notes are very comprehensive. So the book, it can kind of act as a complement to my notes. Some people like to have a book. They like to highlight, they like to read and study from a book, make notes, that kind of stuff. If you're one of those kind of people, buy the book. If you are not one of those kind of people, save yourself some money. You can just use my notes because that is what I'm going to test you from, is what is in my notes. So I leave getting the book up to you. Attendance. So we're not on campus, but we have the school is requiring that we take attendance. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to use if you turned in that week's assignment, then I'm going to assume that you are attending the class and engaged with the class. If you stop participating, the date of your last turned in assignment will be the last date you attended. Now, this is important because if you're on any kind of scholarship or financial aid and you're not attending class or you're not participating, you can lose that. So make sure if you need to hold on to, financial aid or scholarships to pay for college, that you are attending, participating in all of your classes. Drop policy. If we get a few weeks into the class and you decide it's not for you, make sure you formally drop the class. If you just stop participating, but you don't drop the class, then at the end of the semester, you're still enrolled, and I have to give you an F because you didn't turn anything in. So make sure if you're going to stop coming that you formally drop the class. Like I said, this is Texas government, so most of the stuff we'll talk about you should be somewhat familiar with. The 3 branches of government, our Constitution, Texas's relationship with the federal government, checks and balances, all that kind of stuff. Texas culture is kind of what changes this stuff just a bit. So that's typically what's new and what we're going to talk about the most. Now, how am I going to grade you for the class? That's what most people care about. There are 2 exams. There's a midterm and a final that are each worth 30% of your grade. So your tests combined are 60% of your grade. Your test will be multiple choice. There'll be 50 multiple choice questions, but I will have some kind of review. I'm not sure what form that's going to take just yet, but I'll have some kind of review for you with questions that will actually be on the exam. And then you'll have a weekly discussion post that you will, this is how I'm going to gauge your attendance and how you're going to get the other 40% of your grade. The discussion board post, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take the material that we talk about each week and write an essay about it. And, for these, I'm looking for 500 words or more. 500 words is not that long of an essay. But I don't want you to just regurgitate my notes back to me. What I want is you to take the material that we covered that week and talk about it from your own point of view. Give me your opinion about it. Why is it important? Why is it relevant? How does it relate to, your life or current events, or, this is an election year. How does it relate to that? There's a lot going on in our country right now. So there's a lot of different perspectives to write these discussion posts from. If you're not from Texas, give me your opinion as an outsider, things like that. These are not hard, but what I don't want you to do is just either regurgitate my notes or plagiarize something from the internet, because I will catch you. I just want your original thoughts, your original opinions, to see that you are understanding what we're talking about. Now, I do want you to use good grammar, good spelling, good punctuation, all that stuff. You're in college, so that is something you should be capable of doing. But for the most part, I want your opinions and you talking about the information from your own perspective. That's what I'm looking for the most. And then I do have an extra credit opportunity that I will go ahead and tell you about now. In semesters where there is an election, I give very significant extra credit for going to vote. So if you are not registered to vote, get registered to vote. And I do 10 points on your lowest test grade for going to vote. That is a significant amount of extra credit. I've seen this extra credit change B's into A's, C's into B's, F's into D's. So it's a lot of extra credit, but it's because I think voting is the most important thing we can do as a citizen. Now, how you will prove this to me. If you've been to vote, you know how this works. You will go in, you'll fill out your stuff, sign your form, all that kind of stuff, and then they'll give you a code to put into the voting machine, and then you vote on a touchscreen voting machine. When you do all of that, it prints out a receipt to kind of confirm that your vote has been, accepted and counted. That will be your proof that you voted. So you'll take that and your little sticker that you get that says I voted, and you will take a selfie with that and email it to me. You can take a selfie outside the polling place if you want, just for extra proof. Do not take pictures inside the polling place because that is illegal. But you will email that to me after you vote, and that's how you'll prove that you voted and get your extra credit. Now, if you cannot vote because you are under the age of 18 or you're not a citizen of the United States, I have an alternate assignment. You'll just have to send me an email, and I will send you the alternate assignment. Other than that, that's your extra credit opportunity for the semester. So I give it to you at the beginning. So if you're not registered, you can get registered. I'll remind you about that, let you know when early voting is starting, all that good stuff. As far as the class rules, we're going to do a weekly Q&A session just so I can interact with y'all. I can answer your questions about the material, about the class, all that kind of stuff. So if we are chatting, if you're typing in the chat or you're voice chatting or video chatting, just, show etiquette, take turns, let people speak, and then be civil, no insulting people because of their political views, their race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, any of that kind of stuff. Just respect each other, and in your discussion post, make sure you are respectful of people that you disagree with. No slurs, no name calling, things like that. That's my biggest rule. I've only had a problem with this one time so far in my history of teaching, so don't make me have to report you to the college or anything like that. But just be civil. You know, we can disagree and things like that, but we can do so civilly, and that's what I'm looking for. If you go to the syllabus, there's a schedule by week that tells you about the video conferences and then what we're covering each week. For the Q&As, what I'll do is all of you have this class Tuesday, Thursday. And so on Thursday, at the time your class would have been if you were on campus, that is when we will do our video conference Q&A session. So double check your schedule and make sure you know what time your class is scheduled for. And each Thursday, I will start the conference, send a link to it as an announcement so you can access it. And I'll stay as long as I need to answer questions, you know, whatever it is. If you're just bored being quarantined at home and need someone to talk to, we're there for that too. So don't forget about those. They're not mandatory, but you know, if you have questions or things you need answered, that's what they're good for. The rest of the schedule is laid out so you know what we're covering week by week. This first week, we're just doing the introduction to the class, and our first chapter, which is just kind of an overview of Texas government. Your first discussion post won't be due until the next week, the first week of September. The discussion post will open up on Monday at midnight, and they'll be due by Friday at 11:59. So you have 5 days to do your discussion post. Don't forget about those. Like, each one individually is not a huge chunk of your grade, but if you miss like half of them, you may not pass the class. So just keep in mind those are important to complete each week. And again, it's how I'm gauging your attendance as well. Your midterm is scheduled for, I'm not going to just do it for one day. It's scheduled for the 12th to the 16th. So you'll have a few days to be able to take the midterm, because I know we're doing this online, and so everybody's schedules are different. Some of you might be taking this from out of state, or you might be out of the country or something like that. So just having it at one day and one time is not the most optimal way to do this. So you'll have a few days to make sure you complete it. The midterms will be 50 multiple choice, like I said, but we'll have some kind of review. Well, you'll get some of those questions ahead of time. Yeah, and then you'll have about 2.5 hours or so. I usually do 2 hours to 2.5 hours timed for the exam, so you'll have plenty of time as well. The final is scheduled from December 11th to the 14th, so just make sure you're aware of all the dates. I don't take makeup assignments and late exams unless you have some kind of serious, super life-threatening kind of emergency, and I will need proof of that. The rest of the syllabus is just stuff from the school, things like if you need some kind of accommodation, we have the Disability Support Services Office. Make sure you contact them so they can notify us of what accommodations you may need for the class. No plagiarizing, no scholastic dishonesty. If I find that you plagiarize any of your assignments, you do receive a 0 for that assignment, and it can't be made up. And then there's a lot of resources on campus to help you, even if you can't go to campus in person. There's tutoring and all kinds of things like that available, so make sure you take advantage of that because you are paying for it with your tuition. As far as my class goes, just know that I want you to do well. I'm not one of those professors that wants X amount of students to fail my class or anything like that. I want you all to make the best grade possible. So if there's anything I can do to help you be successful in the class, make sure you reach out to me and we'll figure something out. Just make sure you do it as soon as possible. The problem is most people wait until the last minute and then we're out of time and I can't do anything to help you. So if you have any kind of issues or problems, I want you to do well. If I can help you in any way, let me know. Just don't wait till the last minute. Reach out to me as soon as possible. So that's all. That's all I have for the introduction to the class. So y'all take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and I will see y'all and talk to you next week when we get started.